Good evening. Last week I spent all that time spring break with my 6-year-old son, and I just gave him all that time. So I didn't do any posting last week. I really just wanted to, enjoy that dad son time we had, and I really had a blast. But I want to tell y'all, I paid attention. The times when I finally got him to take a nap, I was looking, paying attention, and I want to stress something that I've been talking about. The main reason One of the main reasons I want to be governor of Florida is because what we saw last week shows that even though thousands, tens of thousands of us contacted our representatives, the majority still voted against the will of the people. The majority still voted against the will of the people. Now let's look at this for what it is. There was conversation of briefings that were had that would tell you, as a constituent of these different representatives, why they had to vote yes based on what they heard. Now, we have got to decide if we are in a place where, if information like that is available, why is it not given to the people? I was in the Navy for 22 years. I had a top secret clearance. I understand that there is information that is a need to know. If it's going to affect the people, we need to put out as much of that need to know as possible to make sure that you have adequate information so you are not being emotionally driven to make a decision. This is why I want to put in legislation that the people have a right to vote when it has a mass effect on them. That's why it's important who we vote into these positions. Because if we're not voting for individuals who say they have our best interests at heart, but we never know what that best interest is. When I was in the Navy, I used to always say, don't ever come from behind a closed door and tell me that you fought for me. Show me so I can see it. Because if the results that I'm looking for do not come from that closed door session you were in, I'm going to assume that it was best that I speak for myself. Having that form or that position of representation is important. And again, voting for me and making me a part of that establishment will force them and force everybody to say, hey, Florida has passed legislation that gives its citizens a hefty right to make choice, because they're making a choice based on the things that affect them in their state. They are collectively taking on the accountability of progressively moving forward. And let me tell you, this is a hard and exciting time. All of us are part of history right now. Technology is here to stay, and it is getting smarter, and it is starting to evolve in ways where it will now need to ask the question, not how do we integrate technology in this society, but how do we progressively integrate this society of humans with the technology that they say is going to replace what we currently know. We are in an evolution. It was just like when the steam engine came aboard. There was an evolution time. Things are changing. We did horse and carriage. Now we do cars. We have to figure out how to progressively move the masses into this new society and what that's supposed to look like. History is being made right now, and we are a part of it because technology is advancing faster than we ever thought it would. It's getting there. And yes, if you've seen it, you know a lot of the jobs today will become obsolete. There's probably not a state you go to or a area you go to where you're not seeing that technology is already in place without people. This is going to become it's going to become more and more of an issue. So we need to figure out with progressive individuals how to integrate into this new environment. This is new. I got my child, she's in the 6th grade. They're not talking about how to integrate into this technologically advanced age. So while we're trying to institutionally teach our kids, we need to figure out the curriculum that's going to make it more beneficial when they get out of these schools. All of these things come into play. So I do want you to be excited about the technology, but also bring up your complaints. Look at your environment and start to ask yourself, what can we do when the computer comes in and takes over this job? What is there for us to do? How do we now disperse finance if we're not doing that portion of the work? Where do we stand? These are all questions that we're going to endeavor to work towards together. But again, the main focus is you as a citizen need to have a voice that gets weighed, a weighted voice. So it is not just enough when these individuals come out and they say, run out there and contact your representative and tell them that you don't want to see TikTok removed. It's not enough. We just saw that with your own eyes. An overwhelming vote of yes, get rid of it. If we can't have it our way, get rid of it. An overwhelming vote from our representatives. It's going up to the Senate. And now there's we don't know what they're going to do or if they're even going to have time to look at it. And when are they going to have time to look at it? Whatever. There was an overwhelming vote from all of our representatives. So this is where we are. And in Florida, if there is an overwhelming vote of no, the answer is no. Because it was our job to convince the people who put us in place to serve them that what we're doing is best for them. But if they all say it's not best for us, then it's not best for us as a whole. It's not best for us. And we're going to figure out how to survive because we've all decided as a majority that it's not best to remove something that everybody seems to want. That's just the reality of it. And when you vote with the majority, you do not have to worry about the majority going against you. Because why would they if you're aligned with what they're aligned with? But that's if you're giving them the information to be aligned. Because if I tell you something and the majority say, well, we still don't want it. Well, I'm also going to tell you what's going to happen because we have to vote no. Because that's important. You're going to know the pros and the cons. You're just not going to vote blind. You're not going to just say no just because you want to. I'm going to make sure that I can get as close to need to know without giving up or breaking any type of operational security or information security rules and regulations. But we need to let the people know if we're trying to vote against their wishes, why? It's important that you know. And we have to figure out how to convey that message better. And right now, our representatives didn't get it. So when you go to vote, you better vote for somebody who's voting for your voice, who's standing on your voice, not a lobbied voice, your voice, the voice of the people, the voice who pays the taxes, the voice who pays most of all of their bills. That's important. You guys have a great night. Thank you very much.